Hello, I hope you're well today. In this session, we'll look at this little mind that seems to be inside our heads. Hopefully you watched the previous meditation session, number 5, Emergency, which talks about how if we don't look for this in our practice, then we're making a big mistake. But if we do look for this, we give ourselves the fastest chance of becoming free and moving beyond anxiety, unhappiness, struggle. Over the next few videos, I'll try and open up this topic and let's see if we can work through some of the ideas and see if it helps in some way. Okay, close your eyes. Have a big breath in and a deep sigh. And let's check in. What is your mental state right now? Is your mind jumpy, quick, easily distracted? Does it feel tight in any way? Or can we simply by being relaxed and relaxing the mind as though it were a muscle, can we create space? Try using the breath. Again, have a big breath in and hold it for 3 seconds. And then have a deep sigh. Release. Try to relax your shoulders and neck. Your hands and fingers. Your toes. Your belly button. And then try to relax around the forehead area of your head. And then try to imagine inside your head, behind the forehead region, where it seems like we have the thinking mind. See if you can relax that space, soften it somehow. And again, have a big breath in and a deep sigh. And then open your eyes. Okay, so we can live in a world of our thinking mind. We can live there all day, every day, for the rest of our lives. Or we can find a way to step outside of it, or beside it. To have a transformed mind, we need to be outside and certainly not stuck in this obsessive, compulsive, anxious, worrying mind. that is thinking, thinking, thinking the whole time. How do we do that? Well, we really need to practice this. So, it could be said that all the mind is a series of habits, set patterns that we continue to reproduce every day. And like a record player, just plays the same grooves. But we dig those grooves even deeper every day if we continue along these habit lines. First of all, we need to see them, recognize that they're actually in play, that they are there, that they exist, that they are the fraudulence of our belief systems. Now, how do we do that? Well, we have to meditate, but we also use a yoga practice, the stretching and breathing, to open up the mind, especially with the breathing. And what this does is it unlocks the habits, it releases them, it liberates them, and gets us back to a free, open space where we can create change, new habits, healthy habits, ones that are not based on fear and control. So we need to be the watcher of this little mind. It is a very little space inside our heads. It is not the whole. It is not all of your awareness. It is just a part of your awareness. Let's see if we can have a look. Close your eyes again. Now all we need to do is sit and wait in silence and stillness. And inevitably we will start thinking things. So let's be the watcher of that for about a minute. Have a deep breath. There are so many aspects to this. There's a lot of work to be done. Right, so the thinking, all of the thinking that we're doing in this little space of our head, our thinking mind, what we are doing is we're thinking about this world. We're thinking about ourselves in this world that we think we're in. And we are making up stories about all of it. But if you can be the observer of that, if you can see yourself doing that, you can exist outside of that little world. So, it's a very difficult thing to do. And stillness meditation, yogic meditation, just like you did a minute ago, sitting there still and quiet, letting yourself think, but being aware of the thinking, and not getting caught up in the thinking. If you practice this just for a few minutes a day, you will start to see what your mind is doing. and what stories it is running all day long and all night long. Now, you can do dream yoga, and I'll do some videos on that eventually, but we need to move slowly with these steps. This is advanced meditation practice. This is not relaxation because you're stressed or anxious or tired. We're doing some really top-end stuff. And why? Because we cannot afford to waste time, to procrastinate. We need to go straight to the target and focus there. I've been a coach in table tennis for the last few years, and one thing I noticed is that I can teach a beginner basic strokes, backhand or forehand. Or I can teach them advanced, difficult strokes. But when they're beginners, it doesn't matter either way. They will learn either of them and just take about a year to learn them. But in a year's time, the one who learnt the advanced practices is way ahead of the one who learnt the beginner practices. That seemed interesting to me. We are amazing learners. So why not try on some of these advanced ideas? Alright, so here we go with a strong one. You need to see that the stuff you're making up inside your little mind, it is not true. It is a fabrication and a misinterpretation of reality. Now that idea, even if it were true, it would be very hard to understand completely. But it's good to get a taste of, try it on, and just start looking for it. You need to start questioning all of the ideas that come from your egocentric mind. I'm going to read you something that will explain it better than I can explain it, by His Holiness the Dalai Lama. This is a very important book, and I urge you to get it and read it many times. How to see yourself as you really are. Think about that title. How to really see yourself as you really are, not as the way you think you are. He's suggesting that we are not seeing ourselves as we really are. And this is top-end Buddhist teachings, understanding the fallacies of our own mind. Alright, so the idea is that we have an ignorant mind. Ignorance means we can't see what is actually there. I'll read it from this book. Ignorance is not just other than knowledge. Ignorance is not just other than knowledge, as in having no knowledge of something. It is the contradiction of knowledge. So you might not know about something, but you also might think something that is wrong. These are the two kinds of ignorance. The ignorant mind, by relying on appearances, superimposes onto persons and things a sense of concreteness that, in fact, is not there. Ignorance would have us believe that these phenomena exist in some fundamental way. Through ignorance, what we see around us seems to exist independently, without depending on other factors. But this is not the case. And by giving people and things around us this exaggerated status, we are drawn into all sorts of overblown and ultimately hurtful emotions. Close your eyes start to breathe slowly through the nose, slowly in towards full, and slowly out towards empty. Very slowly, gently, softly, silently. Take repose in this calmness of the body and the breath. Right now you're thinking things, I'm sure. You might be thinking about what we're doing, what we're looking at and working on, or you might be thinking about something completely different, something that has nothing to do with this session. Either way, that thinking mind, be the watcher of it. This little mind that I have and that you have, I could live my whole life trapped in the stories of this little mind, but what if they are not true? What if they are incredibly ignorant and false? What if all my emotions are based on these ignorant and false gatherings or notions? Maybe my life would be easier if I didn't believe so many of these limited and limiting ideas that my mind constructs. Remember that the egoic mind will reject these ideas. It must. And be the watcher, because you are so much more than this little mind. Open your eyes, have a sigh. So this stuff I wouldn't expect you to digest immediately and just understand or even agree with. I'm just throwing it at you and getting you to look at it. And always remember that someone like the Dalai Lama, who writes a book called How to See Yourself as You Really Are, don't take that lightly. He has examined his own mind to a phenomenal, unimaginable level. He's had the most amazing teachers, experts in the mind, the nature of the mind, who have trained him from childhood, and he has practiced for decades. It's quite possible that he has great insight. I'll just continue a bit more. Identifying this false appearance of things and acknowledging our tacit assent to this illusion are the first steps towards realizing that you and other beings, as well as all other objects, do not exist the way they appear to. They do not exist so concretely and autonomously. In the process of developing an accurate assessment of who you actually are, you need to appreciate the disparity between how you appear to your own mind and how you indeed exist. The same holds true for other people and all the other phenomena of the world. Close your eyes again. Have a deep breath. Have a deep breath. You had some time to think there. You had time to be distracted by sounds, sensations in your body. Yet remarkably still, you can get lost in that little mind. No matter what's happening around us, we can still just narrow it all down with tunnel vision inside our little head. Be the observer of that. Be the observer of that anytime during the day. You'll see that it's almost impossible for you to be the observer of yourself once you are doing something. When you're moving, talking, engaged with other people or activities. This is why we need to be still and quiet, because even like this, it is very difficult to maintain as an awareness. This is why we need to stop and meditate, because it's so hard to see. But we're changing habits, remember. That's the idea. Right now, be aware of yourself sitting in a space, and be aware that you are aware of all of that. And understand that your awareness is so much larger than this little mind inside your head. When we get stuck inside our thoughts, our thinking mind, we can walk around and not notice anything around us. Conversely, if we practice noticing what is around us, we spread our awareness outwards beyond this little mind inside our head. That is a very good practice to start doing, but you must remember to do it. We are going beyond this little mind, and we're going to do more of this work. We will also go into this little mind and break it up and examine it and really put it to the test. Is it true? All that stuff? All those stories? In case you didn't know, on this yoga channel, you can go to where there are playlists, and there is the meditation playlist, and that has this whole series in order, chronological order. I'm going to read one more thing. The notion of going beyond this little mind. The Heart Sutra. This is a Buddhist text. So the Buddha wrote this. The Buddha was a yogi, enlightened through meditation, yoga, breathwork practices. And he wrote this text, or he taught this text, to help people understand the problem that I've been talking about. I'm just going to read, it's only 2 pages, this Heart Sutra, so check it out. There are lots of translations of it and you'll find different wording. The yogic wording is to use boundlessness instead of emptiness. And I find that perhaps for Westerners that will be a more helpful word. Certainly for yogis, if you practice yoga, stretching and breathing, you will start to understand that boundlessness perhaps is a more helpful word than the Buddhist word, emptiness. Alright, I'm just going to read a couple bits here. This is about going beyond this little mind inside our head. Boundlessness is the nature of all things. Boundlessness is not limited by form, nor is it limited by feelings, perceptions, inclinations, or discernment. Boundlessness is free of the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and body and mind. All those who realize the wisdom beyond wisdom, understanding boundlessness, the nature of all things, will manifest unsurpassable and thorough awakening. Live with an unhindered mind, the mind without fear. Know that realizing wisdom beyond wisdom is no other than this. Go, go, go beyond. Go utterly beyond. In the beginning, let's see if we can go a little bit beyond this little mind. Let's not get stuck inside it like a rat on a wheel. Let's step outside. We'll try and work on this stuff in future videos. Close your eyes again. Feel your breathing, your resting breath, your body breathing right now. Have an awareness of your whole body that you can feel. all sounds that you can hear, smells. If your eyes were open, all that you could see, but we can go beyond that. We can go to the edges of the universe with our awareness, an awareness of this planet floating in space and beyond. And that is so much more than this little mind inside our head. This thinking mind, lost in thought, preoccupied with small things. Me, me, me. This person that does not actually exist as it appears. Caught in a trap. So we must go beyond. Utterly beyond. Have a deep sigh. Thank you. I hope that's been of some help, and I'll try to be of more help soon. Take care.